to have a fictional company for every fucking podcast, but right now I'm just not. My brain's not in it.
It's brought to you by Delaware, First in Freedom and First in Correct in Betting Sports.
Any pH level balanced water available in the market that we could just put right here during every segment. So.
That Body Armor water is the shit. Have you drank that stuff? Oh my god, that's the best water ever.
Yes, give us
free water.
We will place them everywhere. Everyone will know the.
So last night was the Stanley Cup Finals, and what was that game score? Was it St. Louis 2-1?
Credit where it's due. Now, the one thing I am going to call you out on, though, is you didn't obviously make the bet, but you said, I see it being a 1-1 game.
Going into overtime. I did say going into overtime.
Well, that's where you take the first period over, and I went over your head on that one a little bit. But no, you called it, brother.
2-1, St. Louis, and under.
Yep.
I mean, Binnington was on his head last night. I mean, dude, once I saw that they got the 1-0 lead, I knew. I was like, this game's over, And Boston, they made it close at the end, It was what? It went up 2-1 within, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the third?
Boston scored with 6 minutes left in the third.
I think the two most intense things in all of sports are 1-goal differential in the final 5 minutes of a Stanley Cup playoff game and a 1-1 lead in baseball in the playoffs with like 3 innings to go, because every single pitch could be the difference in the game one way or the other.
Oh, absolutely. And it's and that's what makes it exciting, and it's what everyone said going to the game last night. A lot of people thought the Bruins would win, me included. Now I will say, as we got closer to puck drop, with the up in the air on some of the health of some of the Bruins, I kind of thought about maybe going Blues, but once you submit a bet here on the podcast,
didn't one guy get his jaw dislocated the other day and then showed up in play?
Chara?
Yeah.
Zdeno Chara.
Yeah. And
he's 42 years old. He's 6'9".
And skates like 7 feet tall.
Yeah. He's a giant. And he still plays at 42. It goes to show that hockey...
you would literally get paid hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, crash into people. You'd be the greatest fourth-line defender ever. It's like, what do you want me to do? 64, hit him.
Skating's good it's not bad for the joints. That's why they can play so long. Yeah. Even though they're taking poundings and getting beaten down.
Isn't Yager still playing?
He still plays in Europe or in Russia, I do believe.
The KHL.
He was a Panther like last year, though.
Yeah, no, dude,
the best.
He's top 4 or 5 all-time scoring, and he's played like 24, 25 years or longer.
Best story ever. Some girl hooked up with him and took some pictures and this and that, and was threatening to go public with it, and he was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, why would he care? But I was expecting the Bruins to take that game, and then when I was watching it, I'm like, the Blues look good.
This is the fallacy. This is the fallacy of what NBA playoffs have taught us to expect in hockey. It's like, the better team is supposed to win.
Hockey's all about hotness. We've been saying that the entire time. Every time we record this, we're talking about the hotter team. Everyone
the hotter goalie.
The hotter goalie. And you know what? It's going to happen. I think the Bruins take it.
I agree. No, excuse me, the Blues. I agree, the Blues.
The Blues take it.
But was it Dominik Hasek carried the Buffalo Sabres to a Stanley Cup final with nobody else on his team? And so with the Blues, with their goalie getting hot, and now this game might be a little higher scoring, I think, but I think it benefits the Blues because they played last night and they're playing Saturday night.
They play Saturday.
So there's only the one day off.
No, they don't play Saturday. Remember?
They play Sunday.
Sunday.
No NBA game Sunday, but we're getting hockey, and it'll be a 3:00 game probably.
Yeah, it's probably going to be during the day. I don't think that they would. Which I mean, for celebratory.
No, it's at 8:00. The game's Sunday.
Oh, going.
It's a prime time.
Head to head against the Tonys.
Yeah, it's a real
no one gives a shit about the Tonys.
No, not an overlapping crowd.
And that was you took the words right out of my mouth there. That's not gonna be that. So I mean, obviously, let's go to the big game we got tonight, guys. Huge implications tonight. Lines at 4.5.
Clay is playing.
State. Yes, Clay is.
Durant is out.
Durant is officially out.
No, he was officially out.
Yeah.
He was announced out yesterday.
30 hours before the game. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
He's not going to.
That means he wasn't close.
He's not playing.
Game 7 is the only thing he might show up for. Might.
And of course, and at that point, he'll be like 42 days removed from playing basketball.
And at that point, if he came back, if it were Game 7, that would imply that Golden State wins tonight.
They have to win.
But here's the thing, though, too, with someone like that,
they'd have to come down 3-1.
Well, it's not only that.
Team's not coming back 3-1.
Well, it's not even that. It's like if they're down 3-1, they're not coming back from Toronto. Toronto will finish it in Game 6.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. Like that would imply they win tonight. I think Toronto wins tonight. I'm already putting that out there, and we already have a bet on this.
In the show with a teaser here, John and I have came to a bet for this game.
Am I wearing a Mecca shirt? a Donald Trump supporting shirt? If is
I
that what we
wanna
found
be
out?
Well,
creative.
it's a T-shirt of the other person's choosing. If
Yes.
you choose any other shirt, I'm telling you, you underachieve. If you
I'm a
choose
very
any other
creative
shirt.
individual,
Jir
Josh.
will
I
agree.
am
That'll get so many social media reactions to his social media.
If you pick anything other than a MAGA shirt, you missed it. The obvious ending is sometimes the right one.
I'm very, very creative. Well,
Josh has never been more right about anything in his life.
so if the obvious ending
MAGA
is the
hat.
right one, so then that means Golden State's to play tonight, right?
I got Toronto, man. Clay's hobbled.
I got Toronto as well.
Yeah, I got Toronto,
I
man.
I said Toronto in 5 to begin with.
Yeah.
You did say Toronto in 5. I said
You're jumping
Toronto-
onto it now.
No,
but
I said Toronto in 7, but
to begin with.
There's no way Steph Curry duplicates that. You got a
No.
hobbled
he's not
Clay.
going to he's not putting up 47 again. He'd have to put up 60.
Didn't Iguodala hit 3 threes?
Yeah.
That's not happening
Now,
again.
time out real quick. I think y'all forgot.
Draymond hit 2.
If Toronto wins in 5, do you remember what we said?
I'm not going to be
If
involved in
Toronto
this.
wins in 5, we gotta shave my back on air.
And
so that's how.
Back and beard.
I don't believe beard.
No.
was that. I
The
think
whole
that's
bet's
better.
beard.
No. Whoa.
beard.
As I remember reading through this, that was a Bucks Warriors bet, and then there was if it doesn't happen, I only saw that it was off and no affirmation that was
And I took
still
Toronto.
on. Yes. But that was later. But I mean, I saw no affirmation that the beard
I
bet
won't back
continued.
out now. I mean, if that's what we want to do, I'm not going to back out now. So I
I like
think
beard
Golden State
bet.
takes it.
No, it's a great bet. I just didn't know
But
that it was
that's how-
reconfirmed with the changing of the Eastern Conference team.
Well, that's how crazy I thought Jerry was. Is that if they did, Toronto does win in 5. So at this point, y'all need to hope.
Well,
And hope Golden State wins tonight, or we
It's-
gotta get some trimmers going.
this series.
Yeah, it was John shaves Josh's beard.
Yeah,
Or
no,
vice versa.
yeah. But that was when it was the Bucks. I didn't know that it was a reconfirmation when it became the Raptors.
Just
Oh, no,
for,
I ended up taking
Okay, that's okay.
Toronto.
for entertainment.
But
value.
as
And it's looking good.
as I was saying before, though, this has all the feel of that 2004
Lakers
Lakers Pistons, and very similar game too. In that I always say that the Pistons won 5 games in that 5-game series because they lost game 4 by not listening to Larry Brown and not fouling the Lakers when they were up 3, allowing Kobe Bryant to hit the 3-pointer to send it to overtime, and then they lose in overtime. But they never trailed at the end of regulation in 5 games. And even then, they should have won that one. And even though Golden State ended up winning comfortably in Game 2, they had to go in the 19-0 run to start the quarter and then depend on Toronto not scoring a basket for almost 4.5 minutes to end the game and almost 4 minutes to start the
This
fourth
could
quarter.
easily be a 3-0 series.
Yes, it could have easily been 3-0. So it's even though Golden State
it's
won
not.
that one. And here's the other thing, and this is how Golden State beat Houston last year. If Clay is hobbled and can't do 75% of what he normally does, and KD never plays, Steph Curry is going to be so exhausted, even if they happen to go to Game 7,
Sorry.
he's not going to be able to make any baskets.
He's already tired.
He had a day off, and we have the top athletes in the world. They've done everything he can. He's been in them hyperlation, whatever the chambers are.
Hyperbolic chamber.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Hyperbaric.
He's had.
Yeah, but they're not
It's
traveling.
hyperbolic
They're-
as well.
Yeah, they're not
He's staying
traveling,
at
so it's a
home.
short rest.
He has his but he's at home.
He's at
He has
home.
his doctors. He has his nutritionist. Like, come on, y'all. He's been around the clock. That kid is being taken
He's
care
been
of.
to
I have
5
no
straight
doubt.
finals.
Yeah,
It's
he's-
exhausting.
It's 100
I
extra
agree,
games.
but it's as you guys would know, you guys are big workout people, and there's days where you get to the gym, you're exhausted, but you put the headphones in, and guess what? You find that strength because you're in there.
Yeah, it's called pre-workout.
well,
Well, you don't think he doesn't have a version? Of
Well, no, I
pre-workout?
do agree with the one thing. It's I'm always dismayed by how much credit an all-pro, all-star, Hall of Fame player gets for playing after an injury. No, that's the reason they're that good, because they can execute that well. So I would not be shocked if Clay has a 25-point game plus.
It's his defense, though.
But it's his
It's his
defense,
defense.
which will not be
That's
nearly
why
as
I
good.
keep
Well, he's not. They're not going to put him on Kawhi Leonard, not for a second.
No, they can't. But the thing is whoever he is defending, and this is what I was saying the other day about Nick Nurse. Is Nick Nurse a good coach, or do the Toronto Raptors understand what they have to do? If Klay Thompson is out there, the first 3 or 4 possessions, they need to go after him no matter what. Doesn't matter if they score or not, because that'll benefit them in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Or get him in foul
And
trouble.
If he's reaching, it's even better.
So what? Iguodala's probably going to have to guard Kawhi.
Well, the thing is, the Iguodala starting now.
Yeah, right, he has been.
Well, here's the thing. Look at how well they shot last game. I mean, is Lowry going to do that again?
They shot 50, 40, 90 for a game as a team. That never happened.
That's impossible.
Yeah, 50, 40, 90 as a
On
team.
the road.
On
we
the
talk
road.
about one of the worst bad beats that I've witnessed in a very long time with that over 18.5. He had 14 points. First of all, we sat here, we dug for it. We're talking about Ramadan.
What is he
about getting
tonight? What is he
food.
tonight?
I I am not sure. I'm gonna look that
He
up
missed
right now.
he missed a layup driving to the hoop too in like the third quarter.
14 points at half.
The lasting effects of Ramadan. It doesn't turn around that quick.
Oh my god.
He'll be better today.
14 points at half.
He had a good game. Fuck
What-
that.
what-
No, he definitely did, but
He
you
did,
know,
but I think as you're going to it is like the other thing is Toronto was so hot from three, they didn't need him.
Nope.
They didn't need him to go to the hoop.
Is
They
that
didn't need
gonna
him to
carry over
score.
is my question.
No, that will not. The
What-
3-point shooting will not.
What is Kawhi averaging through 3 games? Like 28?
I think
because he had
I think about
24
that.
in the first game or something like that.
Yeah.
24, 34,
He's
and
not
30.
he's not exploded yet
He had 34
in the
in the
finals.
second game.
But that's
It's a loss. Yeah.
It's a quiet 34.
I mean what he did with against Philadelphia and what he did against Milwaukee. I mean that's
he hasn't had that
that's his
game yet.
that's like regular season games so far. That's the thing. This is why I think Toronto is such
That
a
was a
good
big 30
situation.
last night, man. I don't know.
He's not yet had to carry the team, and it's like he knows it. He sees that the other guys are carrying their weight. Danny Green finally showed up from the Danny Green most people thought he was.
Danny
from like
Green
3
is
years
top
ago.
10 in the NBA in threes made in the finals all
And-
time, and he shoots 51%.
And in percentage, he was what first in the
51.
league in percentage. It was crazy.
Siakam's sitting right at 18.5 again.
Ooh, what a
tonight.
tease! I'm
I know,
going
so-
over.
He's right there tonight, and that's when we kind of dug into, and that's a point we brought up the other day is especially people looking in and getting into recreational sports investing is what we'll call it is finding
You
finding
gotta
the
put money into
edge.
yourself.
Yeah, finding the edge, because and there's not wrong with just taking a game because you want to watch it, but just do it responsibly, and certain games it's hard to find an edge in a finals game because what do the books know is that everyone's going to bet that game regardless. So you have to look into the stats that are just derivative based, the averages. I mean, we broke it through with Siakam the other day. He hadn't gone over 18 in two, or he only gone over 18 in 2 of his 6 games on the road. Well, his average was 16.9 for the season. So what do we think? Okay, maybe it was a client. Well, we got booked. I mean, we all
18
agreed.
points.
18 points. That's just unreal to me. So, but that's just how accurate they are, and that's how hard it is to find that edge. So one thing that really stood out to me is, and everyone knows I'm a Cleveland fan, I'm a Cavs fan. Fuck LeBron. So the reason I say
Why?
that, hold up,
gave
we're not
you
gonna
your only title you'll ever
I'm segueing
have.
into this.
Let
I'm
him
trying
finish.
to get some credit here. So I say that because I've never been a Golden State fan. I've never been a Curry fan, just because that became the rivalry. 47 points when everyone on Toronto's goal was to stop Curry. And the whole goal was not let Curry score. I mean, that has to go down as a top 5 NBA performance of all time.
I wonder about that because this is one of the things
What?
that I think.
What?
That an individual performance, find me better numbers.
LeBron last
LeBron's
year.
entire
I
finals
said
run the
top
last 5 years.
I said top 5.
Well, okay, number 1 greatest finals performance ever, Game 7, 1980. Magic Johnson filling in as a
42.
center, 42 points, 17 rebounds, I think 8-9 assists or something, as filling in as a center. So there's like number 1.
No Kareem, yeah.
No Kareem. So he's filling in for an injured Kareem.
So what do we think? What's going to be the difference maker tonight? Clay's back.
And then you can fill it out with like 4 LeBron ones.
No, the difference maker is the fact
difference
that
maker. It's
Clay
exactly
is
the same.
hurt.
Well,
And
no,
Clay
I
can't defend.
I
And
think-
they show without having Clay on that court or not being hobbled and incapable of guarding anyone, you can't hide Curry's lack of defense. And Cousins being on the court and his awful defense.
Well, I think more so it affects the rotational defense, which explains how Toronto got wide open for so many threes that they got.
Exactly.
So if Clay is close or anything, then going back to the Siakam thing and digging into the numbers, I don't think Toronto may not be as successful shooting threes, so they may have to go to the hoop more, which leads to Siakam maybe getting more opportunity. So I'm going to go with the over on the 18.5 again this time.
and I think that's a good play as well.
It's going to be really hard. You know how hard it is?
Especially since I think the Raptors are going to win. So there has to be a second.
It's really hard to close out the shooters with a pulled hamstring.
Well, I think
impossible.
Yeah, that's literally where everything's coming from.
That's
Yeah.
why I also think another one to look into would be Klay Thompson's total points over because if defense
this is a good
hurting,
one.
what do you want him to do? You want him to shoot.
What's its number at?
21.5.
Under.
You're going under.
It's definitely under, but I mean that's just that's
close.
They're so good.
That's average.
They're so good.
No, because I think he has like 19 or 20. That's so close.
For me, thinking Golden State wins, obviously I have to think of the over on
There's
that.
a chance he doesn't play that as many minutes though.
But the thing is, not he does. And again, we know he doesn't need to play minutes.
He can score
to
37 points
yeah.
in a quarter.
I mean, he scored 30 was
37 and a quarter.
And what was that? Like 6.5 minutes? What 12 dribbles? 7 dribbles?
He scored 61 points on 11 dribbles.
yeah.
Yeah, Klay Thompson is the scariest player in basketball.
The only thing with that
100%.
is those open shots are him beating people to the space.
14 threes halfway through the third quarter this past season. He set the record. He set the NBA record for threes with 5 minutes left in the third. 14.
Didn't play in the fourth.
14. You know, they pulled him out just so he wouldn't get too much lead on Curry, so Curry can maybe break it again one day. They have the records.
It was the Sergei Bubka of pole vaulting. It's like, no, I'm only going to beat it by quarter inches because I can get a bonus every time I beat the record.
Sidebar: I may never drink tequila again. I'm dying over here.
I'm
lying. I'm gonna drink tequila again tomorrow night. But that's another shout out. If there's any tequila sponsors, Julio, we're talking to you.
Wait, you going to Flex Pavilion tomorrow night?
The Casamigos podcast.
I will not go to Flex Pavilion after last year at World. He sat there and he literally, it's like he played his album. There was no drops, there's no riffs, and I know we're on time limit, so I'm not gonna do that. But he did not stand for an hour and 15 minutes. He didn't move. So, you know, I'm going to get off that. But, no, I haven't even listened to a song of his by then. I'm anti him. You know, how John is about Trump, that's how I'm about Flux.
I have to go under.
Trump versus Flux shirt.
I have to go under. I have to go under on Clay and over on Siakam.
You know what? And I know this is very square, but I'm actually going over on both as well.
I'm going over on both.
Over's a good call. I'm just trying to be a little different.
I like over on both, but we just don't know how healthy Clay is.
But I think it doesn't necessarily matter as long as he can get to the offensive end.
Because I think less health, where is it going to affect more?
Defense,
100%. Exactly. So less health. So that's kind of my thought there. And now the funny thing was, well, not the funny thing, but interesting thing was when we were talking here on the other day, his point total was at 17.5 before he was ruled out. So, you know, obviously Vegas is expecting, well, he is going to play. So they are going to expect an increase there. And, you know, to me, it's a direct correlation. You know, if you think Golden State's going to win, you know, you got to think Clay is going to hit that because, like we've just said, you know, Curry
can't carry the team.
Exactly. And, well, guess what's going to happen, too, is Curry's going to be looking to dish, you know, and they can't, you know, if they get hot early and they come out shooting threes this game, they've got to get hot early. That's my key to the game tonight. They need to come out, and the Splash Brothers need to splash, you know, and that's very cliche, but, you know, you earned that name for a reason, and you know, they got to go out there and perform.
The odd thing that's so unique about Klay Thompson that you would think, okay, so he's got an injured hamstring, you can put a smaller defender on him to defend the to make it more difficult if he puts the ball on the floor. But he doesn't put the ball on the floor, so you still need the bigger defender to obstruct his viewing for shooting just enough. But it's the defensive end, and if Toronto doesn't attack him in the first series just to possibly re-injure it or tweak it or at least make him think or even just get easy baskets because he doesn't defend. So, but I'm only choosing the under because I think he's going to get re-injured and he's not going to play.
Not going to play much. I think he plays under 30 minutes.
But I think if he plays 30 minutes, I think he's close to 30 points. Just because
30? He hasn't had that game like that this year.
He hasn't, but that's one of those things is when you're
he's
that type of a player.
It's his first game at home.
And waters of Lake Minnetonka, he probably went out to the ocean.
Purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Chappelle
Show reference.
So yeah,
Dave Chappelle, give us free stuff.
The line to the game is 4.5
on Prince's birthday, by the way.
Golden State favored by 4.5, and the over/under is 215.5.
That's interesting to me as well, that over-under, because, you know, I've wanted under on both games, and I'm at this point now where it's like, this is where you also got to be careful, because it's easy to say, well, first two games have flown over, so what do we think is going to happen here? Wait, no, well, the first game pushed.
First game pushed. And the last two were over.
And the last two were over.
Last one was over by a lot.
Last one had to go 4.5 minutes with only 3 points scored.
Over-unders are so hard with these two teams because it like depends which guy gets going. If Siakam's going, it's going to be a lower scoring game.
And are they going to be physical defensively?
Yeah.
So no, I agree with you.
The officials giving Golden State free throws, which they didn't do for once.
But they got the opportunity with going forward with a freer flowing game though, which they allowed this time, which more 3-pointers.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, John, you're going with Toronto again.
I got Toronto.
Okay, well obviously we have a bet on that. So
I took Toronto and I got the over. So, and
BJ,
No, I was gonna say, for me, like I said, I keep pounding the idea, and the thought is the fact that a hobbled Klay Thompson can't defend, and without that defense, the only person on that court that's going to defend anyone is Green, and
he can't guard Siakam.
He can't guard him, and also Iguodala's too old now. He's 36, can't guard like he used to.
How about Ibaka? 6 blocks last game.
Basically, where we're getting at is Siakam or Leonard are going over the point total tonight. Leonard's at 31.5.
I think Kawhi gives you another 29-30. Yeah,
and that's too risky of a play for me on Kawhi.
I don't want to bet the over on Kawhi.
He's a 28 to 32, a night guy, but it's just an interesting point because we're talking about defense, and going with the over. So
the interesting question is that if Toronto wins tonight and they're up 3-1 going to Toronto, is if Kawhi's over/under number goes up. Because if it's at 31.5, I'm definitely taking the over on a closeout game in Toronto for Kawhi. Because he's going to make sure in the fourth quarter, if it's close, it's over. No matter what his injury is, no matter what his exhaustion, no matter anything like that, he will put it all together to make sure they can do it and finish it. Yeah, no. So that'll be interesting to see if that over/under goes up.
Yeah, I think it will go up, and I think honestly, if Toronto does win and it's 3-1 going back into Toronto for a closeout game 5, he puts up like 40. And he shuts that. He makes sure they close it out because he doesn't want the possibility of Durant coming back.
And that's the thing too, because I think if they go down 3-1, I'm the opposite of what most people think. I think he does come back because what's going to be your legacy? Your team's down 3-1, and you come back and you take them to the promised land potentially.
You come back and you lose that very first game
back because you haven't played basketball in 42 days,
and tarnishes it even more.
It tarnishes it even more. So no, he's not going. He's not playing. He's in a win-win actually right now. He goes, "Hey, look, guys, look what happened without me."
I agree.
Boom. He doesn't have to play. He won his championships. He's good. He's leaving. He doesn't play with his team ever again.
There's still gonna be that part of him as being a superstar wants another title.
I'm pretty sure.
No. I really don't think this guy has any pride or anything after going to Golden State.
Yeah, he does.
In the first place.
Those 2 championships to me.
You got to think this is the punkest athlete we've ever seen.
It's an amazing thing. I think you're right, and it's weird because he has no pride but all ego, and it's like how does those two things exist?
How can you have one without the other? So.
To the extent that
the way he does, it's all ego. But for some reason, in his mind, does he genuinely think when he went to Golden State, like the people were going to love him for that?
He couldn't have. I mean,
I hope he's hated for the rest of his career.
Well, this is the thing that could be.
I loved Durant before he went to Golden State. I like Durant. I loved watching him.
I loved him as a player.
I loved him as a player.
Now he's a dick.
I just can't stand him.
And he's a dick. He's soft and he's a dick.
This is obviously soft I'm choosing Toronto. I will go over because I think that either Golden State has to shoot threes and they're going to make enough to do that. But I also think
can't guard.
But that's the thing is I think they can't guard. So Toronto's going to score more because it's going to be easier for that.
Yeah, I got Toronto in the over too.
And still Siakam with the over. And I'm taking Clay with the under. But if he does play 30 minutes, I think he's well over.
Hold on, let's get these documented. Let's see.
I really think everything might go over actually.
Vegas except Kawhi. Wants you to think that.
Yeah, Kawhi, because again, this is the thing.
Kawhi, stick with it.
You know what? I know I'm going to go a little nerd here on this, but you guys liking the over. I personally would look at Golden State Warriors team total over. They've been injured. You're getting Clay back. I didn't dig into that number to see where it should be, but that's something I will look into though to see. Is there going to be any value on that? With Durant not being there, Clay not being there. Now Clay's coming back. Of course, there's going to be a little, separation. But with that being said, the over/under has stayed consistent, between 213 and 217. So, I mean, how many more, and basically the team totals, and I'm going to tell you what they are right now, they're basically a derivative of the over and the under. I mean, that's not breaking news, but for anyone out there who, is kind of new to things. So, obviously you have your total points scored for the game, and then they use that to derive. We're all struggling here this morning, but that's how much we care about y'all that we still want to come and give y'all the pregame show. 109.5 is Golden State's. I actually don't like that number, so let's go around the table. Let's run back through these bets. John, Toronto
over. Plus 4.5, and I like the
over
at 250.5.
The Toronto, the over. I'm still going with Siakam with the over and Klay Thompson with the under.
Same.
Okay, I'm going to go with Klay Thompson over 21.5.
You need that to happen to take Golden State.
I know. I'm going Golden State, obviously, minus 4.5.
Which makes it easy to choose that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got to go under again. And here's why I know we got to get off here, but the public, or the books know the public are going to bet the over almost on every game. So they have to find a number that they're not going to get hammered on by the sharps, though, because betting an under isn't fun, as we talked about. So even that being said, I'm going to take under 215. So I'm the outlier here. I got Golden State 4.5, under for the game of 2:15.
You've been the outlier the entire
time.
Klay
Thompson, 21.5. Well, Josh made a comment the other day about, you're Golden State homer. Once again, I hate Golden State. The only reason, and I said it. Homer. Oh, you said you always pick Golden State. And the only reason I liked them last game was kind of the reverse psychology thing. Everybody in the world was on Toronto. Vegas doesn't have those lights and buildings for no reason.
But I took Toronto in that game, not even knowing that Klay was not going to play. I genuinely think a hobbled Klay Thompson, no Durant,
and that was the case of me out thinking it. I mean, just thinking the Warriors are gonna have some magic.
Curry did. Curry did have 47 points.
Curry's an amazing offensive player, but you know what? You can't hide him on defense without Klay Thompson.
Yeah. And the more he has to work in the first half of that, the more tired he'll be, which exacerbates that situation in the second half.
Yeah, he's a world-class athlete and shooter, but you know what? He that's about it. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Any last calls, guys?
YouTube, subscribe.
Yeah.
Like, thumbs up.
Follow.
Don't be haters. Our friends out there. We're talking to you guys who love us and we spare time with. Help your boys out here. We got something here.
Outside of this group?
Not as intimately as in your bukakis, but we do spend time with people.
We covered that a lot in the last cast.
I can only imagine.
So literally
since
covered
you get a bet, you get a bet podcast now. I get the Bukaki corner.
Anyways, guys.
Can we end any better than that?
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher Radio.
Coming to Pornhub soon.
That'd be hilarious.
Feedback,
only premium. Don't be cheap.
Feedback. And yeah, guys, thank you for listening. Y'all have a great night. Go Toronto.